What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to be teaching you guys all about Thinkorswim. So this is just a paper trading account, and I highly recommend anyone just starting in the stock market to paper trade for a little bit. So I'm going to show you guys how to download the paper trade account, but if you want to download the normal account, you just go to tdameritrade.com, sign up for a TD Ameritrade account, and then you can download Thinkorswim. But in order to download Thinkorswim paper trade, you go to papermoney.thinkorswim.com. So it'll bring you here. If you already have a TD Ameritrade account, just click yes and then fill out the info, but you just click no and then make your account. But I already have an account, so be sure to fill out all this information and then download the desktop version of the app. You can also do it on mobile, but if you want to get charts and stuff, you have to do it on the desktop. I think the mobile app actually has charts, but the desktop version of the Thinkorswim charts is definitely the most valuable and probably the most powerful charts you can use in the stock market. So I highly recommend getting a Thinkorswim paper trade account and then learning how to use it and then starting on a real account. So when you first log into your paper trade account on Thinkorswim, it's going to look something like this. You're going to have your account info, which is going to have about $200,000 of paper money. So you can use that for stocks, options, forex, futures, whatever you want. I personally only trade options and invest in long term, but you have a bunch of different tabs. You have two different chart tabs you can set up. You can go to product depth here, and it just kind of tells you the volatility of the options, which is kind of interesting, but I really don't use this, but very beneficial if you can learn how to read it well. You got your help and your education tools where you can learn all about Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade, which is really helpful. So if you still have questions, I would highly recommend going to these tabs. You can go to this tools tab, and it has like news and other stuff. I'm not going to go through this tab that much, so you can go through that one on your own. I'm just going to go through the tabs I use. You got Market Watch, where you can select literally anything and make kind of like a watch list. So if we wanted, we could go to top 10 and go to like top 10% gain on NASDAQ, and it's going to bring up this. Or what I usually do is go to the post-market movers, which it's not going to bring up any right now, but it'll bring a bunch of different stocks on this page in the morning and during market hours that show a bunch of different stocks that are going up in value. One of my favorite ones is going to the S&P 500, and then I like to change the net change, and now you can see all the stocks that have gone up a lot in this day. But this was Friday's market, so none of this is updated, but you'll have to check that out during market hours. You can set up alerts for certain stocks. I've never used this, but it would be really beneficial if you're day trading. I've never really used this either, but it's just another watch list type thing, so you can use that as well. It's pretty beneficial if you like using this kind of chart. I'm really not a big fan. I've never used this financing rate tab, so I can't really give too much information on it. But the calendar's really cool. It'll give you earnings dates, dividend dates. It'll give you a bunch of different stuff, so I highly recommend using this tab. The scan tab, I really don't use this too much. I've tried to set up a scanner, but they're really not that beneficial. I just like knowing the prices of the stocks that I like to look at, so I'm not really interested in making scanners and stuff. But you can do scanners for so many different thing. You stock scanners, option scanners, spread scanners, whatever. So if you're into scanners, I'd definitely check that out. Let's go to my favorite tab besides the chart tab, the analyze tab. Now this is really beneficial. On the actual version of Thinkorswim, they have a earnings analysis tab. I don't know why they don't have it on the paper trading one, but that is one of my favorite tabs. But the fundamentals is really cool. You can go to stocks like Apple or whatever. You can go to any stock and you can check out how they've been doing over the past few years and kind of assume what the outlook is before you buy the company in your long term. I don't really use any of these other tabs, but you can check these out if you want. In order to just trade anything, you go to the trade tab, and there's a bunch of different things you can trade, but I pretty much only trade options and buy stuff for my long term, so I really don't look into this other stuff that much, but you just got to do your research and you can learn how to trade all these as well. But say I wanted to buy like Microsoft stocks, I would put in Microsoft. You could buy it right here. Say I wanted like 10 of them. Confirm and send. Boom. I just bought 10 Microsoft stocks. Now, if you wanted to go see this stock, you could just go in here. I don't think it's going to show up because I don't think you can trade after market hours on Thinkorswim, even in paper trading, so that kind of sucks. Yeah, the order's not going to go through because it's after market hours, but you can just cancel the order. Go up here, cancel, boom, done. Then you don't have to worry about that anymore. Thinkorswim glitches out sometimes though, so sometimes even if you cancel your order, it'll just buy it anyway. So I want you guys to be aware of that. And then finally, I'll take you guys through the options chain and we'll set up our charts, because there's a few things with the charts that are really beneficial. But in order to go through the options chain, you literally just click whatever expiration date you want and go through the strike prices. I'm not really going to get in depth on this because I have a million videos on options, so just go check those out. But you can do this week's options, you can go 2 years out, you can go a couple months out, whatever you want to do. You can change how many strikes actually show up on here. I just like to have all of them. Maybe I want to buy a super far out the money option. Now finally, the most important part is the charts. That's probably why you guys clicked on this video, is to figure out how to set up your charts. And the way I like to set up my charts is I like to get rid of the grid. I like to get a black background. I like to make a few studies on here that make trading a little more easy and you just get more analysis. I like putting a different volume bar here. So let me show you guys a few things on the charts. We'll first go to the studies, and some of my favorite studies are VWAP, of course. So in order to edit the VWAP, you'll go to this little cog thing, and I just like to get rid of the upper and lower band because they're really not that useful in my opinion. So be sure to get rid of those. You just uncheck the show plot, show bubble, show title on lower and upper band, and then apply. Boom. Now you only have the middle VWAP. That's really the only one I use, but you can do whatever you want. This is just how I set up my charts. And I like to change the volume bar, so I do volume AVG, add that, go to the little cog thing. If there's anything you want to change, you can, but I don't really change anything on that one. I just like having colored bars on this. Another one of my favorites is the comparison tool. I'll throw that on there, and then I'll go to the cog, and then I like to put the SPY on here and make it white, whatever, if you want. Apply that. Now the SPY is on your chart, and you can compare it with other stocks, so that's really cool. I'll compare it with like futures and stuff like that, so that's a really cool thing you can do on Thinkorswim. So if you want more charts on your chart tab, you can just go up to this little square box up here and just start clicking on however many boxes you want. You can do so many. I personally only use 6 max, but I'll have like a main page with 4, but I like to have a bunch of different charts with a bunch of different stocks on them sometimes because I don't check the price for everything. So sometimes I'll forget, and I'll just put like ETFs and bonds and stuff up here just to have a visual representation of what the market is looking like. It's really beneficial. But say you wanted to get rid of this grid and overall just clean up the chart, you just go to the settings and you go to appearance. I like to fill the greens. I like to get rid of the grid. I like to make my background black. I like to get rid of this volume bar, the blue one, because I just don't really like that volume bar that much. I get rid of extended trading hours, and I'll turn this back on if I want to look at something before market hours, but I usually won't use that much. And there's a bunch of other tabs you can click. I think these are checked when you first get in here, so I uncheck those. And you can change your time frames you can look at. On my main Thinkorswim, I have a day and a minute chart, a month and a day chart, a year and a month chart, and then a 5-year and a month chart. And I also have a max chart because I like to look at where the market was before I was even born. It's kind of interesting to see how low everything was and how ridiculously rich some people probably became off of that. And yeah, you can go through more on these tabs, but I just like to make it look clean like this. Like this looks so much cleaner than this bad chart. We can go to the 1 day, 1 minute one. This looks awful compared to the chart I have up here. If you like having clean charts, that's how you do that. You can adjust these little side tabs over here, and on my main page I'll make like a watch list, and then I'll have the trader flash. There's a few different things you can check out on this side tab, but in order to add stuff you just go to this add gadget and you can check all of these out. I personally just like the trader flash, which for some reason they don't have on paper trading. They have it on the main one, and I like to have a little chart for options. You can link a color to this, and then you go to an option, and then you can send it to this color, and boom, now you have an options chart. You can see the prices of the options, which is really cool. That's really beneficial in my opinion, especially if you don't have E-Trade or any other platform. If you have a watch list tab, you can create one. Just start putting in a bunch of names. And boom, you got that set up. And yeah, that's really the basics of Thinkorswim. I really don't think there's anything else I need to show you guys. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments below. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Be sure to leave a like on the video. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. Be sure to check us out live. We're live Monday through Friday, market open to market close. And I'll see you guys in the next video.